Hello everybody and welcome back to the Bagman channel, where the volume is up way too loud. Turn it down just a little bit. We're going to jump right back into Layton Brothers Mystery Room. Friendship. Play the game. If you still have not played this, I do recommend going to check it out, even though I believe you have to pay for the other things. Alright, let's resume. Our next one is going to be the Bungled burglary. And I think I still need to turn down the volume just a little bit. Requesters Florence Sitch. Let's do it. It's like just an office. Oh, what's wrong with her? Is that I or A? She's British. I. Achoo. Alfendi. Not here. Can I help you, miss? Oh, Al. For Alfendi. Al's got a young woman in here, has he? Sniff. My name is Florence Sitch. Achoo, I work at a lab. Oh, hello, Florence. You're actually on time today, I see. Not funny, Al. You should be ashamed of yourself bringing a woman back here. No, I'm just started working here. I'm Lucy Baker. Oh, new blood, is it? Well, anyway, enough. Achoo, preamble. I want you to look into a case. I've sent our lab report over already. It's not like you to ask for help with the case, Florence. Is it especially puzzling? It's as clear as a test tube. A burglar broke into a flat and achoo killed one of the residents. That's good. Well, if it's that black and white, how come you want us to get involved? Because it doesn't add up. Oh. The suspect's as suspicious as they come. He's made a statement already, but I'm certain there's more to it than a chew meets the eye. I can't abide... I'm going to try that a little bit harder. I can't abide the thought of the case being closed before I've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. So you want the professor... I'm just going to say professor because prof is a dumb nickname. So you want the professor to look into and figure what's... Yes. Would you mind, Professor? I'm not sure I like you calling me that, Florence. If that's your only objection, I presume you'll take it on. If you promise to make that the last time you address me like that. Al, you have a deal. So where's the file? Didn't I already send it over? Oh, yes, here it is. Yes, we'll start investigating it once. Just know this, if you fail to solve it, I swear I'll keep calling you Prof. Until the end of your days. Achoo! Excuse me, Lucy, we have to open this. We have to solve this case. Failure is not an option. Professionalism will see us through. They're funny. It were a case that just came up as it was. Start working here in the mystery room. Something it happened in a fairly ordinary studio flat. That's blood. That and the broken glass. These are the three suspects. I remember being surprised by the clever trick the killer employed, but that weren't the reason why the case in my mind. Oh no. You see, that were the first time I ever saw the other side of the professor. The bungled burglar. The other side of the professor. What is gonna rile his cage? Or what is going to offend him or make him sad. Right, let me tell you what we know. The victim in this case is a young male murdered in his first floor flat. Also, while we're doing this, you guys, you watchers, could be trying to figure out with me who you think did it. And if you think that I missed something or something, put it in the comments and tell me I'm stupid or something. I mean, honestly. We've already managed to identify him, and he's something of a loose cannon. Oh? Yes, a certain Jack Potsby. The incident occurred a few days ago just after midnight. His wife, a woman by the name of Goldie Potsby Mon, was having a shower when she heard him scream. She was in the shower. What kind of a game is this? She ran out of the bathroom to see her husband lying on the floor and the culprit running away. According to her statement, the killer was a muscular man dressed entirely in black. That should give us a good head start with finding him, eh? Well, The block's caretaker, who was on duty at the time, heard the sound of the glass breaking. He ran upstairs and knocked on Potsby's door, whereupon the wife told him about the intruder. Wasting no time, the caretaker conducted a search of the grounds and apprehended the suspicious man. He got him. What do they need us for then? There's not for us to do, surely. Just speak English. Well, the apprehended man has an alibi of sorts. He's a known petty criminal by the name of Buster Nix. He claims he was attempting to break and enter in a ground floor flat at the time. Oh, very nice, the lie some people tell. He says he ran off when he heard the sound of shattering glass. In a statement, however, he claims he didn't see anyone coming down from the floor above. Of course he didn't, because it were him that did it. The thieving numpty's incriminating himself with that. I think not. If he wanted to deceive us, he'd be claiming he did see someone else running away, surely. I suppose you're right. That would make more sense. That's what's really bothered me. If you conclude Nix is telling the truth, things get very complicated, don't they just? So let's start making some deductions, shall we? Do you think you can determine who did it from the crime scene and have witness statements we have? You're going to put me on the spot again, aren't you? I tell you what, first let me fill you in on 3 suspects. Okay, to start off with, of course, we have the burglar Buster Nix. Okay, he's 61, he's male, suspicious man caught nearby. An old lag serial burglar known for swift getaways, and he was dressed in black, caught near the block of the flats. Very suspiciously, he was caught in the gardens around the block of flats immediately after the incident. But there's his statement, don't forget. If he really is our man, then what he said doesn't make sense. No, quite. We must be careful not to jump to any conclusions. Next, there's the caretaker. Alright, the caretaker's 45. Concierge of the flats where the incident occurred, a keen bodybuilder who's recently joined an exclusive nearby gym. He can get violent when angered, it seems. His actions from when the incident occurred to when he caught Nix seemed to be nothing but laudable. He could always have engineered it that way, couldn't he, though? Finally, there's the victim's wife, Miss Goldie Potsby Mann. She's 32, she's his wife. His wife's stunning beauty. Sadly, this isn't the first husband she's survived. Oh, she claims to have been showering at the time of the incident and was one who discovered the victim. Wow, what a stunner. Oh, really, is she? Are you joking? Well, anyway, that's what we know about the suspects. Now, I've set up a reconstruction device to include all the info we've gleaned so far for your perusal. We're a little short of details for you to say with any certainty at this stage, but what's your gut instinct, Lucy? Who do you think the culprit is? Once you've had some time to think about it, we'll start trying to make some logical deductions. Who's the criminal? Just go with your gut feeling. I want to investigate the crime scene. You know, we can say anything if we don't hurry up and investigate the crime scene. You could get started good, turn on the reconstruction device, then let's start snooping. Cool. Okay. There's a lot more to look at in this. Okay. This is the flat where the incident took place. Have a look around. Only give you 5 minutes though. No problem. You gotta be quick. Alright. Oh gosh. I can look at the wash basin right now. A snug little sink next to which is a cup and a pair of toothbrushes inside. Okay. A toilet. The Titterford bin fell out slightly damp. Rubbish bin containing discarded toilet rolls, wrappers, and the like. It doesn't appear to contain anything in the case. I kind of want to look at this scrap of cards because that's probably important. Okay, the bathtub. Bath with attached shower. There's indications of recent use, but forensic real no trace of the victim's blood inside. Okay. Very little in the way of the food inside, stocked largely with cans of beer. What if he killed himself? Or if he accidentally killed himself? They are mainly empty and contain nothing of relevance. Okay, the knives are in there. Nobody killed them with a knife. Simple, narrow galley kitchen. Practical. Don't have much use. Cooking pot. Nothing right now. We gotta get closer. We got a clock. Cool. Cool beans. Alright, the door belonged to the victim. His wife and the ward were identified on the handle. The key was kept inside the flat. Huh. What is that? Bloodstained towel. Belonged to Potsby and his wife. Is normally kept inside the flat. Whoever left jumped from the balcony, I'm guessing. Alright, French window that opens out onto the balcony. Broken glass from it is scattered on the floor inside. It was unlocked. All fingerprints have been wiped off. Okay. Determine the intruder gain injury to purpose this way. The flat in question is on the first floor above ground level, but at a determined intruder could gain entry in the premises this way. The glass was broken from the outside in, because the glass is on the inside. Yes, okay, we know that. It's fatally stabbed in the back. No other signs of external injury. Shards of glass exploded all over the place. Physical force must have been used, throwing pieces on top of the body even. He didn't fall. I guess he didn't fall through because he's not on top of any glass. Somebody go on the outside, I guess, and maybe break it. I don't know. This one's kind of confusing. Maybe I'm just done. Chairs, cool. We got a table. Oh, I can rotate it. Take away from telephone. Honestly, I don't know. I don't see any hints that lead us to figure out who it was. I mean, the bloodstained towel is outside. Can I read their statements? I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Who do you think did it? Apparently there's another person. Muscular man dressed entirely in black. Saying this guy. I don't think it would be him. Let's say... that guy runs... This guy's dressed entirely in black. This guy's, let's say it's her. Don't you see it makes sense that Nix has given a false statement. She's on the list. Can't say it's compelling evidence, but I think you're right on the suspect wife. In fact, I'd say there's a 96.4% chance that it's the wife. Okay. So we know it's the wife. Pretty sure yourself again. Okay. Directly a suspect order clear up 1 or 2 loose ends. So we gotta get evidence. The woman has an extremely worrying history. She has 3 previous marriages every one of which is ended with her spouse dying. Okay, we already know that. Give over, talk about leaving the trial. The police and insurance companies investigated the instance, of course, but they couldn't find any indication of foul play. Maybe she's just dead unlucky. Then do you think? Let's reserve judgment on that until we've met the woman in person. She should be here any minute. Do you think she has any idea we're on to her? To help us with our investigation was on the way I put it in when I asked her to come. She probably knows. I guess we'll have to try and catch her off guard, eh? Yes, I don't suspect she'll give much away, but as we hone in on the truth, hopefully she'll get flustered. Counting on help, Lucy. Well, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a walk in the park, but I'll do what I can. She's here. Good, because I believe she's here. Now, were you the gentleman who requested a man presence here? What the? Goldie Potsby man? It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm sure. Wonder who's this fella with you? I perfectly thought it was perfectly plain. Bing here is my new man. Grr. You've got a new fella already? But your husband's barely cold. Husband? Oh yes, I did have a husband, that's right. You talk about unfeeling. What? Why you got a collar on your neck there, buddy? Isn't it swell? I chose it myself. Grr. Unbelievable. You can't do that. Well, I do declare the police interfering in a young lady's private affairs of the heart. No, that's not what I meant. Miss Potsby, man, we fully respect your privacy, and your relationship with this man is not our concern. However, I wonder if we may ask your friend to leave us alone while we discuss the case. Bing is my best friend, Inspector. We have no secrets between us. If I stay, he stays. I'm afraid I cannot allow information about the case to be revealed in a third party. Please, if you wouldn't mind. Oh, very well. Bingo, homeboy. Go wait for me under the porch. Aroo. Now, boy. Aroo. Thank you. Now, allow me to introduce myself if a little. I'm Inspector Layton. Assistant Lucy Baker, assistant. And what is that you want with little old me? Already gave my nice gentleman the statement. Why, everyone knows it was that no-good outlaw who committed the heinous crime. Indeed, as likely as it may seem, there were a number of issues we still need to clear up. Oh, really, Inspector? Yes, well, 2 issues to be precise. Firstly, the exact circumstances of the victim's death. We need to establish whether or not he was really killed by an intruder. I have already told you I saw the intruder with my own eyes. Secondly, there's an intruder's point of entry. Exactly how did the culprit enter the flat? Why, through the window, of course. You need only look at the scene to know it. Have you even read my statement, Inspector? Naturally, I have read all the witness statements. It is our job to iron out all these little details one by one, you see. I hope you won't mind helping us. It would be my pleasure if it helps to bring the murdering outlaw to justice. Good. So, Lucy, shall we begin our investigation? Let's get stuck in, Professor. Oh, gosh. So, these are the issues we still need to clear up about the case, are they? Yes, we could solve these little riddles, lead us to the truth about what happened, why they're both plain as day. Perhaps, but we need to confirm they're as clear-cut as it seems. Lucy, where do we want to start? Let's see now. We can't make any useful deductions until we have established exactly how the victim was killed. We should start by examining the body. Alright. So let's explore the scene of the crime. If anything jogs your memory, Miss Potsby, man, do tell us. I'm sure I don't see the point of all this carry-on when I've already told you who the criminal is. I'm afraid this is just the procedure we always follow, so if you wouldn't mind playing along. Alright, Lucy, let's get started. Let's see if we can't find some of the killer left behind by mistake. Are you sure this little spring chicken is up to the task, Inspector? She seems mighty inexperienced. Whatever would a poor, defenseless young widow like me do if she was falsely accused by a rookie? Oh, please. There's no need for concern. I shall be keeping a close eye to make sure everything is done the proper way. Alright. Right. I think you've established the cause of death now, haven't you? A was fatally stabbed. Yet the Nix wasn't found carrying a likely murder weapon, so it must be disposed of somewhere in the room. Well, I do declare that murdering thief just cast aside his deadly weapon right here in my home. And I'm to understand that you have no idea what the murder weapon even is. Do you quite know what you're doing, Inspector? Please be patient. Lucy, we need to locate the murder weapon. I'll track it down, Professor, don't worry. I do believe that you need a helping hand. He fled over the balcony. Maybe take a look there. We need to go find the murder weapon. I don't think there's any reason why it wouldn't be the knife in there. Towel stained with the victim's blood is belonged to Potsby. The wife normally kept inside the flat. That's where she got rid of that, but I think it's the knives. I don't see why I wouldn't. She had time to come and wash the knife off. These kitchen knives here, Professor, could be the job. That would be consistent with the long, thin blade forensics tells us the victim was stabbed with. He was skewered with one of these right in the middle of his back. Sadly not. That's not the weapon we're looking for. Why not? Officer already found those knives and forensics examined them for blood. None was found. In fact, they look almost brand new. Now, Inspector, whether we cook for ourselves or not is surely none of your business. Oh, pity, I thought I was something with that. Beginning to feel like you will never find the murder weapon at all. On the contrary, we will most certainly find it. Let's keep looking. Okay. The cooking pot was the weapon. Long, thin something. Long, thin blade somewhere. Where's it at? Oh my gosh. I said that the door was the weapon. I'm so confused. Toothbrush, toilet. The scrap of car. No. This is kinda rough. The chairs with a murder weapon. There's nothing around here. Could use the glass as the weapon. She broke the window, got the glass, and stabbed him. Sharpened glass is pretty sharp. You mean one of the larger ones could have been made a makeshift weapon? That's what I was thinking. Yes, investigating officers say it is. But none of the shards matched the victim's size, shape, of the wound. Knew it. Real bad luck, what a pity. Keep looking what else could have been used. Wind is all carried on true. Can't hardly take much more. Again, Lucy, there were no other obvious signs of physical trauma on the victim's body. What does that tell you? He was stabbed in the back and he has no other wounds, so... What were the circumstances? Totally out of the blue. Okay, yeah. If he's no other injuries and he was stabbed in the back, I'd say that he was totally caught unaware. Okay? Couldn't agree more. So we can be fairly certain the victim were killed in a surprise attack. Cowardly thief murdered him without even looking him in the eye. The man is beyond contempt. That would be nothing short of a miracle. After all, we're talking about a complete stranger entering the room. Hey, there's no way he wouldn't have put up a fight. That'd make no sense at all. Poor Jack, he must have felt drifted off asleep in front of the television. My poor honey did that a lot. Must be a reason why he did not notice the murderous villain break into the apartment. That's an interesting new piece of information. We'll file it as a witness statement if you don't mind. I'd say that's more or less all we can deduce about the circumstances of the death of the stage. Broke it down a little bit. We still gotta go figure out other stuff. Alright, nature of attack. Okay, that's all we were gonna find out about it. So we're trying to work out how the killer got into the room, are we? That's right. I'm quite sure that could not be more plain. All we need to look at the shattered glass, know that the outlaw came in through the window. It's the only possible way in, isn't it? Isn't there some other way into the flat other than through the window? I'll have a look around and see what I can find, Professor. This is hard. They're supposed to get harder. Another way into the flat other than the window, the front door. The warden, they identified the handle. He was inside the flat. This is the way in. Where else could someone get in? If they were already inside, then no. No. No, what did I do? Go back. This is the way that you want to. I don't know. The front door, that's the answer. If the door were locked and the key were inside the flat at the time then it's plain to see that the outlaw didn't walk in through the front door, as I've already said, which I do declare brings us back to the window. The murdering thief broke in through the window and stabbed my poor Jack in the back. I find it hard to believe, Lucy. What do you think? What if the door weren't locked when we broke in? It could have been locked later on, no? The poor simple little girl, did you not notice on the door the apartment's all locked by themselves? Then maybe someone let him in. How about that? I can assure you I had never had eyes on that man before, and neither had my husband. Why would Jack let a stranger into his home, or are you implying that I let the outlaw in myself? Let us not forget that any man entering the building would have had to pass the caretaker. Indeed, it seems unlikely that Nix could have gained entry to the flat through the door. I think we should examine the window more detail, Lucy. Alright, let's go look at the window. Investigate the window. Okay. Broken glass from a scene, the floor inside it was unlocked and all the fingerprints have been wiped off. They were obviously smashed deliberately, eh? Can you ascertain from which side the window was broken? It was from outside of the balcony. Yeah, of course. It were broken from the outside from the balcony. And how do we know this? Because broken glass fell, most of it's inside of the room. Exactly, the window was clearly smashed, some considerable force from outside. Now at last you'll believe my statement is true. The outlaw broke in my home and murdered my husband. Professor, I have not finished, young lady. There is a piece of vital evidence on the balcony, something left behind by the outlaw. But of course you already have noticed something so obvious, wouldn't you? Yes. The blood towel. Bloodstained towel on the balcony. Please not tell me you failed to notice such obvious piece of evidence before. No, I knew we were there. We were just getting around to it, that's all. It's my fault. It would appear to be a towel used to wipe the blood off the murder weapon. But why's it been chunked out here on the front balcony? Surely you can figure that out without my help. Clearly, the outlaw threw it away there after he stabbed my husband and fled over the balcony. Well, maybe, eh? There is one thing I'd like to double check. Let's assure that the culprit did indeed break the window in order to get inside the flat. The loud noise would have alerted everyone in the intrusion. Does that not strike you as a rather clumsy approach for a seasoned housebreaker? The window was locked. Why, the outlaw had no choice. It was locked. Can you be sure of that? I do declare I can. I distinctly remember it was locked from before. I always check all the doors and the windows. I denude my body to take a shower, Inspector. It's funny. Very reassuring to know. I'm pleased we could clear that up. Lucy, make a record of it, would you? It's fundamental of the case. Delighted that we are finally seeing eye to eye. Keep the locked door in mind, Lucy. I'll make a mental note of it. There's one more thing I'd like to try to clear up if I may, and what would that be? You've already mentioned it in your statement, but you did hear the noise of the window smashing. I most certainly did. Why I still remember it now, I was in the shower at the time. Then I heard my husband scream. I came running out of the bathroom, and I saw the outlaw. As I said in my statement, he was wearing a black from head to toe, and he fled over the balcony. And you stand by your statement. That's exactly what happened. Well, I hope you're not implying that I'm a liar, Inspector. I merely wanted to confirm the accuracy of your very important statement. Thank you very much. Locked prior. Okay, a French window, glass shards. Though locked prior to the incident, it is now open. I guess I'm not picking up on that. I'm so confused. Well, I do believe the issues that were troubling you are no more. We have proven the outlaw is guilty. Oh, eh? What exactly are you trying to say? The victim were taken by surprise and stabbed from behind. Smashing your way through a window hardly qualifies for a surprise attack, does it? A poor, sorry simpleton, you still fail to understand. My husband was sleeping at the time. He did not hear the outlaw breaking the window. Give over. Are you really? Are you doubting me? You have already taken such a long time establishing the window was smashed from the outside. That in itself is surely compelling evidence that the outlaw broke in my home, as I have described. There can be no more room for doubt. I would kindly request that you allow me to go back to my home now, Inspector. Of course, thank you very much for your cooperation. We shall get our files in order now after all the new information you've given us. I believe that would be for the best. Such a simple case as this can surely be laid to rest now. One last thing. Yes? If we happen across any other awkward issues, I presume you wouldn't mind helping us again. As long as you are not wasting my time, Inspector, I should be glad to help. Thank you. Wish the best for you. Much obliged. What do we have left to do? We have a lot of evidence left on. Are you sure about just letting her go like that? We weren't going to reach a conclusion like that. She knows that we suspect her. Sorry, Professor, it's my fault. I got a bit heated up. I apologize. We all get worked up at sometimes. Anyway, I'm quite certain now that she is the culprit. Hey, likewise, you can tell she's hiding something by the way she's that quick to get mad. I'm convinced she hid the murder weapon somewhere in the room after she killed her husband. She wouldn't have had time to dispose of it outside before the caretaker arrived. Then she arranged the scene to look like an intruder broke in from the outside. However, there's an inconsistency between the course of events she describes and the scene she set up. Is there? Of course, there's no such thing as a perfect lie, Lucy. The murder weapon is somewhere at the scene of the crime without question. Well, if we can find it, we'll blast a whopping great hole in that double-barreled bimbo story. There are two issues, the murder weapon and the way she set the scene to make it look like a break-in. Right, okay. Okay. We need to locate some irrefutable proof that shows Potsby man's statement to be false. I hear you. We need the murder weapon and decisive evidence. What evidence belies her statement? Would it be the towel? Let's go check out this paper. What about this? The toilet. Oh my gosh. I heard my husband scream. Hurried out of the bathroom to see what was wrong. I was taking a shower. When I came out of the bathroom, saw an outlaw running across the balcony. He was a very muscular man dressed in all black. Jack often used it to doze off while he was watching the television. So was it something to do with the television? I'll find it, I promise. I can only click on so many things. I will find it. Alright. Oops. The broken glass, the window, the corpse. Let's go. I don't know, maybe it's the bathtub. Now, you know, I thought that was a good guess. Let me go outside. The balcony. No, not again. We've already said the window. Then it's got to be the bloodstained towel. Ah! What if it... We've checked those things. Is the window. Cool. Cool. Got the front door. You know, I just click on everything. We'll figure it out eventually. You know, the door was a good guess. I can only do so much. The soup. She was making soup. That's what the lie was about. We love soup. Swing bins. What about this? No, of course not. No. What about the kitchen? I think that's me. No. The kitchen hides. This is it. No, it's not. You stupid. You hurt my feelings. You know, beer is always a good reason. The table. The chairs. That was also a good guess. It wasn't going to hurt the thing to just go on and guess it. What about the wardrobe? No. I don't think it's going to be any of these. And if it is the telephone, that won't make any sense. It all makes sense at the end. That's the way the stupid game works, stupid mysteries. Have I missed something? Why? Why? Okay. When I came out of the shower, outlaw running away across the balcony. When I heard a window shattering. Then I heard my husband scream, so I hurried out of the bathroom to see what was wrong. Came out of the bathroom, I saw an outlaw running away across the balcony. He was dressed. My husband screamed. Dressed in black the white. To doze off while he was watching the television. One or two? What would it be? Yay! How? Explain this to me. You've got it. I've got it. The broken glass quite clearly inconsistent with that statement. We've backed possibly man into a corner now. She proves she's been lying. Of course, you appreciate the inconsistency is exactly, don't you? Bits of broken glass are on top of the body, not underneath it. That's all wrong. Ooh. That wasn't a surprise, precisely. This puts paid to the idea. There was an intruder broke into by the window and killed, possibly well spotted. That's stupid. I should have known. And now we gotta go find the murder weapon. See if we can find the murder weapon the suspect used. She must have hidden it somewhere in here. Look for something long and thin. Long and thin, right. I'll get to looking. It's in the soup. It's the toilet. That's dumb. Long and thin. It can't be the knives. We knew that already. Something long and thin. Would it be the clock? That'd be so stupid. Examine the clock in detail. Pendulum. The minute's hand's slightly been tipped. Alright. Got a chance to examine the clock in detail now. Hey, what do you think could have been? It's gonna be that. Yes, the hand is long, thin, alright, and pretty sharp too. Closely, you'll notice it's slightly bent. There's a chance that this is what were used to do the fellow in. I agree. Which means the murder weapon were in the room from the start. Committed the crime, the perpetrator hid it on the premises. In other words, the culprit was in the flat before, during, and after the crime. Excellent find. As for instance, to go over the head, would you? If it really was the murder weapon, they should be able to find traces of possibly blood on it. Will do. Okay. That's everything. We've tied up all loose ends, haven't we? Yes, in theory at least. How do you mean? We haven't quite got enough to prove beyond reasonable doubt that possibly man was responsible. Why do you say that? Never mind. Why don't you call our suspect in and we'll take the case from there. This time we'll get her to tell us the truth whether she likes it or not. I can't wait. So we know it's her, but we don't have proof? We have to get her to confess? Grr. Oh my, keep your furry friend under control. Well, I do declare my furry friend, as you put it, does have a name, Miss Baker. Bingo. Call him Bing. Well, I can't say I approve of the collar, but I hope that chain's a good one. At the risk of repeating myself as possibly man, would you mind, or... Yes, I know, Bing, go wait for me in the car, boy, the trunk's open. I'm sure the good inspector will not keep me long. Arf, arf. We're gonna forget him in the trunk. That's the end of the game. Now, whatever affairs we still have to discuss, Inspector, I trust we can do so quickly. I always wanted to go to the park with Bing around this time of day. Don't worry, Miss Possibly Man, I'm fairly sure this will be the last time we meet. So what exactly requires my attention, may I ask? I assume you have finally concluded that it was the outlaw who murdered my husband. Oh, the contrary, we are now quite certain Mr. Nix is completely innocent on this matter. If you'll cast your mind back to our previous conversation, we established that the victim was stabbed from the back. The victim was stabbed from behind without warning. He was caught completely unawares. I, Miss Pottsby, had no idea what were coming. There was no way Nix could have done that if he came in the way you described. As I've already told you more than once, Jack was inclined to fall asleep while watching television. Of course, we cannot deny the possibility that your husband was indeed asleep at the time. However, if it were truly the case, it would be at odds with something else that happened. In other words, what suggests the victim couldn't have been dozing off when he attacked? The window was smashed. Because the window was shattered, all the glass breaking would have made a right din, and no mistake. No one could have slept through that. There was no way Mr. Pottsby wouldn't have woken up. I do declare you are slow as a snail sometimes, Baker. My husband was quite exhausted that day while he was sleeping like a log. Even the clatter of a window breaking would surely not have roused him. Well, there's not more that could be said from there, then, I suppose. Only when that outlaw drove his knife into my poor husband's back did he wake with a spine-chilling scream. And it were hearing that scream that you ran out of the bathroom to see what was happening. That is correct. My sudden arrival scared the outlaw away before he could steal every bit of penny. I know it was the thief that caught in the grounds. I see. So, that's of course the events as you described it. I never said anything to the contrary, so if I may just recap. You were having a shower in the bathroom when you heard the sound of glass shattering. Immediately after that, you heard Pottsby scream. That's what you're telling us happened, aren't you? It's also what you said in your statement. Of course it is, because that is the truth, Inspector. Then I would have to say that you're a liar, Mr. Pottsby. Well, a liar? Indeed, there are certain pieces of evidence on the scene that will prove me right. Well, I am all ears. If this evidence really exists, then I sure would like to see it. The evidence was the broken glass. You trying to trick me, silly? Oh no, did we say that that was it? Shards of glass? Oh my gosh. Here, ooh. Must have been used throwing pieces on top of the body. Even prior incident is now open. Glass shards inside, flat proof, broken from the outside. If it's pinned up like this and it's highlighted, do I know that that's it? The shards of glass would be broken on top of the body. What do I do? Proves that the statement is a lie. Glass shards inside the flat prove it was broken from the outside. Though locked prior to the incident, it is now open. Oh, yeah, that's it. See, would have just walked back through the broken glass. Oops. Wasn't it? Sorry. It was the broken glass. Oops. Bits of broken glass prove that you're lying, Miss Pottsby, man. Oh, that is hogwash. All these little bits of glass prove nothing of the sorts. Would you care to explain, Lucy? Tell Miss Pottsby, man, what exactly the broken glass reveals. It reveals the timing of the stabbing. You only have to look at the broken glass to see the order of events that led to Mr. Pottsby's death. What order of events? You claim you heard a window smash first that your husband screamed, but if that were the case, what are all these bits of glass doing on top of the body? If your statement were true, the broken glass would be underneath the corpse. But they aren't, are they, Miss Pottsby, man? They're on top. Which proves that the window was smashed after the victim was stabbed. So, it would seem that you were deliberately given a false statement. I have done no such thing. Why, I simply confused matters in my head. I am all torn up about the loss of my dear husband. This simple misunderstanding proves nothing. I retract my statement. I simply cannot remember if I heard the scream of the glass breaking first. Perhaps the outlaw came inside some other way and only smashed the window after killing my Jack. Oh, you little weasel. Let us assume for a moment that you were indeed mistaken. That introduces a new complication. It does. Indeed, because we both know that the door and the window were both locked before the incident occurred. If the culprit didn't break the window, how did he or she get into the flat? Well, I have no idea. Just what are you trying to say, Inspector? What I'm trying to say is simple. We can now be sure that the true perpetrator of the crime is... It were you. At the time of the attack, the window and the door of the flat were locked. The only other way in was by smashing the window, but we know that it happened after the victim died. With no method of entry available, the only conclusion is that the culprit did not come from the outside. No, the person who did this was in the flat from the onset. And the only person who fits that bill is Miss Pottsby Man, is you. Am I to understand that you are accusing me of murder because I was in my home the whole time? You are to understand that. Then I must remind you of something of vital importance that you appear to overlook. What is that? Oh, just a little bit thing called the murder weapon. I hear it told that you still have not found anywhere inside of the apartment, which I never left. If I am to be accused of the crime, why, I would just love to know where I'm supposed to have put it. Indeed, I confess to having been stumped by that conundrum. Well, you have it. You have not a shred of evidence that I killed my husband. However, we did eventually manage to locate the murder weapon. Beg your pardon. Hey, that's right. We know exactly what you used to skewer the man. I do declare why it's simply not impossible. It's not possible. You didn't dispose of the murder weapon outside of the flat. No, because it's been there the entire time. You're starting to rile me, Inspector. Tell me where this murder weapon I'm supposed to have is. It is one of these in the clock. She's like, oh boy, that don't figure me out. The murder weapon were hidden in the clock. Well, are you sure? Sure as eggs are eggs. It were the minute hand of the clock that were used to kill Mr. Pottsby. Why, that is hogwash. A man could never be killed with such a thing. Well, the shape of the hand perfectly matches the victim's wound. Hey, you haven't got long to wriggle your way out of this one. Forensics are going to pick it with a fine-toothed comb. I don't know. Speak of the devil. Hello. The shape of it, well, it is almost, you admit it now. I don't think so, do you, Inspector? Professor, what is the matter? The results from forensic, they found now on it no traces of blood whatsoever. Really? What a terrible shame. The trump card turned out to be the joker in the end. I do declare I hate it when that happens. I must have missed something, Professor. Can I assume that we're finally on the same page now, Inspector? That outlaw Nix is responsible for my husband's death. I am no longer under suspicion. If you could just fill out these forms for me, the word effort forms. Well, my husband's life insurance will simply not pay for anything without the proper paperwork, Miss Baker. Have you got no shame at all? We're talking about a man's life. Why, you have no idea what you're talking about, Missy. Jack doted on me. He would turn in his grave if he thought his little pot of gold would not be mine after his death. How did you all say something like that? Killing for cash. Not a bad idea. What happened to him? Professor, are you alright? But your motives are far, far darker than that, aren't they, Goldie? Don't get uppity on me now, Inspector. Oh, but you enjoy it, don't you? You kill for money, but it's not the cash you're after, it's the kick, isn't it? What are you on about, Professor? What's gotten into you? I can just imagine that the little smile creeping into your lips as you prepare the murder weapon. I will not fall into your petty trap, Inspector. Need I remind you that you still have not even found this murder weapon of which you speak of, and we never will because it no longer exists. Inspector, I do declare you have lost your mind. Are you suggesting the murder weapon just vanished into thin air? You'd be delighted if that's what we concluded, wouldn't you? But let me put it another way. The weapon that was used to stab Jack Pottsby didn't exactly vanish, it melted. Drip drip. From the furnace or summit. Oh, hang on, I get it now. I know what happened. The cooking pot. There's no other way it melted. What did she use? murder weapon must have been melted in this pot. Oh yes, the weapon that killed Potsby disappeared in this pot. I have no idea what you're talking about. I assure you, my husband was simply making I was simply making my husband some pasta, and don't mock me. Where's the cutlery? Where are the bowls, the pasta sauce? There's no sign of any preparation of the meal at all, just the pasta in this pot of boiling water. I had intended to prepare those things later, but I don't think so. I don't mean that pasta were ever meant for eating at all. No, the pasta was prepared for the sole purpose of a little disappearing act. Tell me, by now you figured out what the murder weapon was, Lucy. I'm with you now. The murder weapon was a knife made of ice. Yebo? The weapon used to stab Jack Potsby to death were a knife made of ice. It would have melted to nothing in no time at all in the pot of boiling water like that one, using the pasta. Why, anyone with an ounce of horse sense can see that this is just fiction that you have concocted. Even if there was a knife made of ice, like you say, it's gone now, has it not? My hands are clean. You can never prove I had such a weapon in my possession. Well, no, perhaps, but Professor, yes, we can. Pardon me, Inspector. Are you back to normal, Professor? Sorry, Lucy. Yes, I'm fine now. Thank you. What are you two whispering about over there? We're discussing the ice knife. You are, of course, correct in that the knife itself is no more. However, in order to make the knife in the first place, there was a mold, and the mold is still on the scene. I surely would like to see it. Lucy, do you know what was used? Because it was damp, yeah. The damp piece of card that used the mold shape of the knife. If you fold it back along the creases, let's see what you get. Oh, look, perfect knife shape. Yes, you line with the mold of cling the film like filled, put it in the freezer, make your knife. Well, I wish courts were like this today, and this is great. We'll be able to match the shape of the mold to that of the victim's wound to be certain, of course. Why, it's nothing more than a coincidence. Anyone can see that. We have more evidence against you. Excuse me. After you stabbed your husband, you used a towel to wipe the blood off the knife. The towel we found on the balcony. Yes, and once you were satisfied you removed all the blood, you put the icy weapon in the boiling water. But you were absolutely sure you removed every last trace. I'm sure I do not follow. In my experience, no one ever managed to remove all traces of blood from a weapon. If you indeed dissolved the knife and killed your husband in the boiling water, we will be able to positively identify the victim's blood when we examine the pot. Why, you little. Lucy, have forensics go over to the pot, Willis, straight away. They're on the case already. Now we merely need to wait for the results. Are you ready to admit your crime now, Miss Potsby? I have no intention of admitting to anything. Even if you can prove that my husband was killed with a knife made of ice, it doesn't mean I did it. Oh, know when you've had it last. I have had nothing, Miss Baker. 15%, what? I've had nothing, Miss Baker, other than my innocence questioned most unjustly. Unfortunately for you, there is no logical way in which you are not guilty. If you will cast your mind back, we showed there was no way into the flat when the incident took place. The door or the windows were locked. In other words, only somebody who was already inside could have stabbed Mr. Potsby. Oh, please. You've admitted yourself that you did not leave the flat, in your own words, the apartment, which I never left. No, I. Or is it another statement now you'd like to retract? I must warn you that doing so is only likely to make things worse for you in the end, though. I demand that I see my attorney. You cannot continue to question me in this way. Certainly, Lucy, make the necessary arrangements, please. Will do, Professor. Why, to be accused of, because of such a petty little thing. Is she gonna go to jail? She put up quite a fight, eh? Yes, she did. Oh, right. It's his lab. When I found it now in the clock hand, I can tell you. Don't worry, Lucy. You weren't alone. It's a bit of gamble as to whether they'll find any trace of blood in the pot of pasta as well. You're joking, aren't you? I'm pretty sure she's going to confess now, though. Pretty sure, eh? Fendi, she's admitted everything. Eh, what a relief. It seems she was after the man's life insurance. She told us as much. We were questioning her. Would you believe it? Oh, well, did you know this? We've actually found that Potsby won a large sum of money last year. That's when Miss Mann came into his life. Hardly what you might call a coincidence. She were a real gold digger, eh? Well, it seems Potsby was expending money like water. She was terrified he'd rack up as much debt as insurance payout, so she had to murder him quickly. I see. So it was something of a rush job. She had no doubt prepared better for her other spouses. So it's all done and dusted then. Fabulous. I must say, Al, you don't look very well. Are you alright? Probably that Jekyll and Hyde moment he had taken out of you, hey, Professor. That's a bit of exaggerated way of describing it, Lucy. But I feel a little under the weather. I think I'll go home early on one of the objects. Are you sure you'll be alright? It's nothing but a bit of sleep won't cure, I'm sure. Can you close up the office when you leave? Consider it done. Hope it's alright. So it happened again, did it? You know about it then, Florence? About Professor? Well, whatever's about it, eh? Calm down, Lucy. I really don't know all that much about it, but you're safe as long as there's a criminal present. You don't hear that said every day. What I mean is that the other Al is only interested in criminals. You won't come to any harm. So he's got some kind of vendetta against criminals of Summit. Actually, from what I've seen him, I'd say it's quite the opposite. He can't help liking them. All the more so, the more atrocious they are. Yeah, I don't like the sound of that. Really no cause for alarm. Like I said, as long as there's a criminal present, you're perfectly safe. What happens if he shows up when it's just the two of us, though? If it were me, I'd rip out my drip and run like the wind. I think I'll come in my plimsolls tomorrow. I don't know what a plimsoll is. Yay! So it says that file 3 can be purchased from the title screen. Let's go take a look at what that looks like. $3 through 6 is $3. Woo! Okay, and then 7 through 9 is going to be $2. Okay, so looks like I need to go find some money, and that I'll return so that we can do these cases. They've been taking a little while, but this is going to be good. Maybe the game's over after this, but I don't know. Hope you enjoyed the game. If you didn't, too bad. It was pretty interesting. I think there's more of a story here we've got going on. I will see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.